y'all don't pay any attention to the hair. It's just it's wildness and craziness. And it has been crazy. I'm going to tell you that. It has been absolutely nuts for the past few weeks. Definitely with hearing about the cancelization of Girl Meets World on Disney is probably the best news I've ever heard. Because, I mean, I know you guys have watched Smurf vlogs. I know you have heard that Michael Jacobs is actually in talks with other networks to take Girl Meets World. And the fans have literally been adamant in having this show on the air. Disney has made a massive mistake. But in a way, I'm kind of happy that they're gone. I really am. Because it will actually give them the motivation to be the show that they need to be. They'll give them the freedom to be the show they need to be. And I'm excited about this. But for those that actually do want to suggest this show to Netflix, put in the suggestion area, Girl Meets World Original. And I kind of know why. They're trying to make it into an original show, buying all the rights so they'll be able to keep the music. Because the music, hey, it's what it's known for. They can't change the music. So they're trying to get all the rights from Disney, and I know right now they're actually struggling to get the rights from them. And it explains why they're showing it at 6 o'clock instead of 8:30 like they used to on Disney. They're really trying to get rid of it, and I can see why. Because they're really, honestly, in my opinion, I think it's going to come a lot sooner than not. Yeah, I guess that's a way of saying it. The information that we're going to be getting on whether or not Girl Meets World is going to be on Netflix or Hulu or wherever it's going to be is going to come a lot sooner than later, in my opinion. Because this show is at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, 2 hours ahead of what it usually is at. They're trying to get this going, and they're trying to get it going for a reason. They didn't even say it was a finale. They just said Girl Meets Goodbye. That's all they said. Disney's ready for this show to go. And I already put my theories on what's going on. But let's talk about Girl Meets Sweet 16. Now, it's kind of funny how it started off, of course, all Disney-ish and goofy about, a Sweet 16 party and celebration of being 16 even though they're 15. And it's kind of funny how Corey was talking about how Riley was trying to grow up early and trying to grow up way too soon. And how they were talking about, okay, are you ready for a Sweet 16 party? I kind of, yeah, in a way, it was something kind of hidden underneath that. Teenagers really do try to grow up too fast, but they don't really know why. And they think that if I grow up, it's going to be a lot better grown up. And he's trying to show, take your time with it. Instead of trying to force yourself to grow up way too early, just take your time in growing up. But when you grow up, changes do happen. Of course, he said you're born, you take your first steps, you say your first words, you go to school first time, which I thought that was kind of sweet, but then kind of Disney-esque. It was like, that's where I met Riley and Maya and Lucas and Zay. I'm like, no, you didn't. You met Zay like almost towards the end of middle school. But other than that, I thought it was sweet on how they actually did include Zay in the group. And Smackle actually felt like she was part of the group as well. But she already had her entire life planned out, how she was going to study in Sweden, get the Nobel Peace Prize, and she was going to develop a vaccine for the common cold. She already had her life planned out. But the one thing I loved about the show is that it shows that life does not ever hand you, what I'm trying to say is that life, you never really predict where life is going to take you. Sometimes life takes you left. Sometimes life takes you right. Sometimes it goes straight ahead or maybe to the right or diagonal. You really don't know which direction you're going to go. And it kind of gave us a little bit of a hint in this episode, which is what I really loved. It gave us a hint of Zayadora. Now, I'm all for Zayadora. Y'all know I'm for Zayadora. And they gave us a little hint, a little tidbit, if you will, of Zayadora. And then they talked about the relationship between Lucas and Riley. And honestly, it was obvious to everybody that there was really no relationship there. Especially the fact that Lucas tried that stupid cockamamie stunt just to show that Smackle did like Farkle by having him flirt with her. I'm sorry. I didn't buy that. And that was typical Disney. And a part of me really wants to let that go. And I am going to let it go because I'm in a very happy mood because I believe it's going to be picked up for season 4. So I'm going to move on from there. But I will say this. Besides that being a dumb idea, it really shows that there's no Ruckus. There never was a Ruckus. There probably is going to be maybe a tidbit of it, but it's going to show that Ruckus will never work. But I think that the shining star definitely, when it gets picked up, is going to be Lucaya. But we're going to wait a long time for that, man. Seriously, we are. But other than that, there were a lot of really great moments. And sure, when Smackle and Farkle said that they were gonna be together, I'm like, no, y'all not. No, y'all not. Smackle's gonna be with Zay, and Farkle's gonna be with Riley. And I'm waiting for my Ryarkle moment. I'm waiting for my Zayadora moment. It ain't gonna be with y'all. As soon as they said that, I'm like, nah, y'all done. Bye bye. And I was so happy. But the one thing that made me happy the most was the fact that Maya has so much growth. You have seen this girl mature. Now, I know there was a bit of inconsistency, in my opinion. The fact that Topanga asked, what happened to all those A's you made? I only made an A in Spanish. I'm like, wait. So, all that about you being Riley, that you were making good grades, you never really did make good grades. You only made one good grade the entire time? I don't know. I really don't buy that either. I think that but regardless of that, Maya has had a huge amount of growth, and I just wanted to see how far she went. And when she said that hope wasn't for suckers after all, I was like, yes, I knew that Maya actually embraced hope, but she fully embraced it. You have no idea how happy I was to hear that. And yes, she somewhat embraced it, but now she literally just gave Hope a hug and held on to it. And that made me so happy when she heard that. When I heard she said that. But it's just beautiful. And I know that a lot of people are like, well, the ultimate ship of the entire show is definitely Riley and Maya. No, it's not. Their friendship, I guess, maybe ship-wise, no. Because here's the one thing that I'm seeing in this. And this is the one thing that shows me that their friendship is not completely damaged or detrimental to themselves after all. Is the fact that Maya literally came to the conclusion, a very mature conclusion, that life will change, that things will send them in different directions, and eventually they may not all be together. It doesn't mean they can't be friends anymore, but it means that they may not be able to see each other always because life will take them in different directions. And that's the one thing that I really was so happy to hear from Maya, because Maya went out of her way to be the most immature, obnoxious person she could be. But underneath all that, it was a very smart, intelligent young woman that was growing and very scared of life. We saw how completely broken she was when the bay window had to be remodeled, but it shows now that she's ready to walk through life and walk to life head on. That she's ready to take life head on. And with Riley, of course, Riley's going to be very concerned to go back in her shell, but Maya is definitely showing a lot of strength. And I love that. Riley, there are points that Riley has a lot of strength in keeping the group together, and there are some points that Riley actually does break and she's vulnerable. I like seeing Riley more vulnerable than trying to be strong, because it shows that she's more human. There are times that she actually is a voice of reason, which makes me happy to hear. But then there's also times she tries to fake being brave, and she's just not. She's terrified. So seeing her in that vulnerable moment just shows me that, you know what? She's definitely growing up too. Because she shows, and she's showing herself that she's afraid. And I'm really excited in what direction these girls are going to go. Now, when it comes to Lucas, I really didn't see a lot of growth in him. Not at all. I know that he's still trying to be the tough cowboy he thinks he always is, but let's be honest, he's not. I think the first time I've ever seen him vulnerable was at the beginning of season 3 when he realized he couldn't protect everybody. But that was the only time. There really wasn't a lot of growth in him, and I would love to see more growth in him as the show progresses, because he's had very little. Now, the person that's grown the most that I'm really impressed with is Zay. He was the shining star of this entire episode. The guy was flat out hilarious. One-liner after one-liner after one-liner after one pop after one pop after one pop after one comedic moment after another. That guy was on fire. Now, I just love, and I keep talking about Zayadora so much because, guys, you don't know how excited I was for Boy Meets World when they had the first interracial couple on a sitcom. I was excited. I wanted these guys to go the distance, but somehow they had to ruin Angela and make her crazy and make her neurotic and make her broken and make Sean a weepy mess. And it just bugged the crap out of me. The one thing that I would love to see out of those two once they finally get together is growth. And after he was playing around with Smackle, you can tell that he likes her. You can tell she likes him back. but she's not really connected with feelings yet. But this is how they both were. Like I said, I think it was in my top 3 best and worst. Zay is the type of guy that is somewhat disconnected, but he has an idea on who he is and how he feels. While Smackle is still struggling with feelings and how to express them. These two are perfect together, in my opinion. And when Smackle was like, "We're perfect for each other," I'm like, "No, you're not, hun. You guys are smart, and that's all y'all have." But when it comes to emotions, that's what you lack. When it comes to feelings, that's what you lack. Which does not make you perfect. That makes you only good in one aspect, perfect in one aspect, and that's the smarts. But when it comes to all around perfection, you got to be perfect all around, and they're not. I'm not saying that Zay is perfect for Smackle, but he's a well developed fit for her. I am excited to see where they go down the line, and I hope that they bring a lot more out when it comes to Zay. I want to see Zay's background. I want to see where he came from. I want to see why that cookie was a big deal to him. I want to know a lot more about him. And in this episode, it made me more excited seeing how he was reacting with Smackle about the next season. And that's what I got out of this. I really did. I know maybe I'm looking too much into this, but I really do see a lot more out of these characters. Except for Lucas. He really did not grow that much. But when it comes to the overall ending, it was heartbreaking to see those girls break. Because they realized that they're going to be as far apart as they've ever been in their entire life. And it broke my heart to see Augie in tears too. Now I know that with Topanga, she would always be very pragmatic about her decisions, but it seemed like it was really hard for her as well. And when Corey, typical Corey, but Corey was pretty funny with his socks. He just looked like he was just burnt out with life. I would love to see more love between those two. I would love to see more emotion between those two, except respect that I'm getting from them, which is okay. But I would love to see a little bit more coming from those two, and I don't really see much. But other than that, guys, it did kind of somewhat end on a cliffhanger, even though we already know what's going to happen. But let's put it this way, y'all, and I'm going to end on a positive note here. Girl Meets World leaving Disney is one of the best decisions that's ever been made, and I am happy that this whole thing was Disney's mistake. I'm happy that Disney made the mistake to get rid of Girl Meets World, because now Girl Meets World can go to a network where they have the freedom to be the show that I know that they can be. They can bring more mature topics to the table. And even Michael Jacobs has even said that he's going to bring more mature topics to the table, which includes sex, which includes alcohol, drugs, which includes emotions, which includes all kinds of stuff. It's going to include a lot of stuff that's more mature, and that's what a lot of people want. We don't live in that shady utopic society with the rosy-colored glasses anymore. There are people that are literally hungry for truth. And I think that this is the best show that can show it to them. When it comes to the show that actually can bring out more emotion to where you are human and shows how it's okay to be human, this is the show for you. That's just my opinion. And I'm very excited about the fact that this is going to go on to another network and it's going to be the show that I know it can be. But guys, I know I talked way too much about this, and I know I didn't talk that much about Girl Meets Sweet 16, but I'm very hopeful towards the future, and it wasn't as Disney-esque as I thought it would be. Yes, the beginning kind of was, but it really did kind of give you little hidden gems along the way. And I had so many hidden gems that I've noticed that it kind of made me happy and hopeful throughout the entire episode. But guys, I've said enough about this. I want to hear your thoughts. Leave it in the comment section below. You guys are amazing when it comes to making your comments, and I would love to hear what you guys think about this episode. So by all means, leave your feelings towards this episode in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next week for Girl Meets Goodbye. Peace out, y'all. I will see you later.